Hi, my name's Rachel Andrews. Welcome to Everyday Athlete. So on this week's video, I thought I'd take a ride out on my trusty steed because we're right at the start of lockdown Mark 3 in the UK, and I thought I'd head out and find some swim spots for later in the week. The first one we're going to head to is to take a little scout along a river. I've done the bottom half, but there's a part across the main road which I haven't managed to get to yet, but I've noticed it's a bridleway next to it, so I can take the bike and we can go and have a look. Come and join me. So this area here is what I would say would be the get out for the swim. This is the part that I've had a walk along the little park there. It's a bit further along that I haven't seen. This part, although it's low tide, you can see it looks fairly clear. There's not that many things to bump into, especially at high water. At the moment, we're pretty much low water. So I'm confident I could swim in over that, in amongst these little birds and things. Let's carry on up and go see the bit I haven't seen. So I've arrived at my first bridge to take a look at the bit I haven't seen before, and on first glance it looks okay. Fairly clear far down there, but when we look a little bit closer, there's wheel hubs, bike tyres, a couple of traffic cones. Yeah, the ducks seem happy enough, but I'm not so sure I'm happy to swim down that bit. Yeah, not great. Oh, and also a little shopping trolley down there. Not ideal. Well, but let's cross at these lights here and head over the other side to take a look and see what the river looks like up there. I'm pretty disappointed by that, to be honest, although not overly surprised. Let's crack on. Well, not surprisingly, this is also not looking that great. I can see a few bits of debris in there, but it looks like the water comes pretty high up on a decent high tide, so you could quite easily go over it, but there's a bit of a worry about what might catch my legs on. The other thing is we've got some runoffs and things coming in. It's not the best thing I've looked at, but maybe let's reserve judgment till we get a bit further up. It might be that in order to check this one out fully, I put a paddleboard in or something and just go down and get a feel for it from the water to see what I can see as obstacles for swimming. For those of you that have noticed this little box here, that is a Swytch box. That's the battery which powers my front wheel. And it gives you a boost, so it's a bit like an electric bike, and I can switch it on or off. I've got it on the lowest boost at the moment, but it's just giving me that little lift just to keep me rolling. Well, it's been a little bit of a disappointing ride really today, but I have ended up further up. I kind of had to dive in and out of the town there, as you saw, which wasn't really that cool, but I did find some nice cycle paths which I didn't know existed, and they were away from the main road, so that was pretty nice. But here I am, still following the Bartley water, I've just spoken to a lady who says this river runs through her fields a little bit further that way, and that on a spring tide their field floods, so that's quite hopeful, meaning that this was obviously still tidal this high up, and I'm a mile or so away from, well, maybe a couple of miles from the sea now, but there's quite a bit of debris in it. It's fairly shallow, and it's got quite a rocky bottom. I don't even think this is a wetsuited exploration this high up, so maybe it's from further down if I go at all, but I'm still thinking that I'd need to take my paddleboard out to check it properly. It might not have been the ride I was hoping for, where I'd really spy out a brand new swim spot, but actually I've had a pretty good time. I've been able to check out some local cycle routes, and I'm now taking a ride down some lanes that I haven't been on before. So we'll carry on. So the controls I have on here are, well, this is the battery life, as you can see, and this is how much boost I'm getting as I ride along, which I can increase all the way up here. And that means every time I take a pedal stroke, the battery will boost it and make me go quite a lot quicker. I've been riding with it on the lowest setting, and that is absolutely plenty. What I also have over here is a little throttle that I can press down instead of pedaling if I really wanted to. It's a great piece of kit, and I'll have another chat about it later. And what I've just done there is press this increase power button and held it until this came on, which tells me the lights come on at the front, which is probably better than this one at the side, although I will pop that on now. I've crossed the path of this little river again, so this is still Bartley water coming up here. It's quite pleasing that I get to cross it again. It looks much cleaner up here, if a little bit dark, and not so friendly for getting into. As you can see, I've had to add an extra layer because my little ears are getting cold. They have really got a chill on, and I brought along my trusty warm drinks. I'm going to have a bit of warm squash and some nuts and apple or something. Quite boring, this January food, isn't it? And my fingers are getting a little bit cold. So the question is, do I crank up the power on here to get home quicker and risk my fingers feeling even colder? Or do I ride slower and hope that the wind doesn't make them cold? I bet you can guess what I'm going to go with. I'm going to crank that bad boy right up. Let's see how quick I can get back after I've had my little snack. January snack time. Handful of nuts and some hot squash. Have you made any resolutions this year? I didn't really feel the passing of the new year, to be honest, so I didn't really make any. But I'm interested to hear if you made any yourselves. Let me know in the comments. Well, using the boost the other day to get myself home on the Swytch bike really was the best choice. I actually got myself pretty cold. By the time I got home, my fingers just didn't feel like they belonged to me. So next time I think I need to put a bit more clothing on. But it was really good to get out and check out all those cycle lanes. But in the days since I went for that ride, I have been thinking a lot about that river. And I've decided I'm going to contact the local council and the potentially the water authority. I need to work out whose responsibility it is to look after that river, because I'd really like to volunteer to hop on in there in my wetsuit to remove the stuff. But what I don't want to do is take it out, put it on the side, and then it just ends up getting chucked back in, because that's kind of a waste of my time. And yeah, that's just a real waste. So watch this space, because I'll let you know how I get on with that, because I really think that as an individual citizen, I should be able to volunteer to help. And it'd be interesting to see how they take that offer of help, and if I can do anything with it. But I'll let you know how I get on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, that you'll give it a like and drop me a comment. Have you had any success yourself trying to clear a waterway where there's rubbish in it? Because I'd really like to know about that in the comments. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you along. And I'll see you next time. Bye.